The presentation will begin with the pre-appointment phone call using the following form. Pre-appointment phone call. And here it is. Now, I don't care whether you have an assistant that does it, and if you have to do it, then you do it. You give them a call, say, "Hi, Mrs. Anderson. This is Rand Smith, and I have an appointment with you tonight at 6:15. And I wanted to ask you if you'd be offended if I ask you a few quick questions so that as I'm preparing for that appointment, I can talk about only what's important to you. Would that be okay?" Oh, sure. No one's ever offended if you ask them for a few quick questions, especially since you're going to meet with them. All right. Now, why are you selling? Find out why they're selling. I know these are basic questions, but depending on how you ask them and what you do with that information is the difference between those agents making a lot of money and those agents not. Okay, so why are you selling? Well, my husband had a transfer. And where are you moving to? Well, we're moving to Timbuktu. Great. And how soon did you want to be there? Well, we've got about 90 days before we need to be there. And do you already have an agent who is helping you find another home? Well, no, not yet. Great. Would you be offended? Because we network with the top agents in the country. And would you be offended if we had one of those agents talk with you, provide you with information so that you could get kind of a jump start on what's available there? We might even need to coordinate the closing here with your purchase there. It will save you time and money. But there is no obligation whatsoever. Would you be offended if I had them contact you? Again, they're not offended if you're doing a service for them. What do I have now? The potential of. Even if I wasn't to secure this listing, I still have the possibility of a referral fee, don't I? Yes, you will always get an okay on that. All right, next. Do you have an opinion of the current market value of your home? Okay. Here it is. Do you have an opinion of the current market value of your home? Believe me, you guys, I've heard all of the things too, all of the answers. Well, yeah, we have an opinion, but we want Rand to tell us what it is. Well, and when I get there, I will tell you what my professional opinion is. And we'll talk about the pricing strategy quite a bit. But do you have an opinion? Well, yeah, we think it's worth $795. Okay, and how did you arrive at your opinion of value? Well, my husband added up, how much we needed to pay off the home. And, we've got a couple of kids that we want to put through college. We added that in there. And then we wanted to buy a new car. We added that in there. And we needed to put some money away in savings. We added that in there. And then we knew we were going to need this much money for a down payment on our next home. So we added that in there. And we added it all up, and it came to $795. Now, whatever you do, resist the temptation to start laughing out loud and tell them, "You can't do that." This is what I used to do when I was a Mike Ferryite. I'd say, "You can't do that. You can't. That's not the way you do these things." Well, yeah, it is a way. You know why? They just did it. Yeah, you and I know that's not the right way. I mean, if I added up all of my needs and then used that as the market value of my home, heck, it could be $10 million, couldn't it? Okay, so we know that, but don't say this. Tell them that is one way of arriving at your opinion of market value. And we'll look at some other ways too. Just move past it. But you want to know what kind of fuzzy math they used, okay? Especially if it's a price that it kind of shocks you. Okay, now, what's your decision-making process in selecting an agent? In other words, what is the single most important consideration in selecting an agent? And now, respectfully speaking, shut up and listen to what they're going to tell you. They are going to give you the key, the secret, the one thing, the most important thing to them that you could do in your listing presentation. And you need to make sure you do it, and not only do it, but you specialize in doing that. So they may tell you, the communication is what's really important. So that's terrific, and we'll talk more about that there because that's one of the things that we specialize in. Now, will all the decision makers be present at your appointment tonight? And mine says with Rand because I use an assistant to do this, but you'll say with me. Are all the decision makers going to be present at our appointment tonight? And if they say anything but yes, guess what you do? That's right, you reschedule it. Oh gosh, I'm sorry to hear that. You see, the way that we work is I need to have everyone there. Everyone that's on the deed, and I notice here's the names, and I need to have all of them present. I'm sure you can understand that, can't you? So why don't we go ahead and reschedule? Now, would a day after tomorrow, would they all be available then at, say, 6:15 or would 6:30 be better? And just go in and get an appointment. Now, here are the tougher questions that I want you to ask this next question, because if you do, you'll find out something magnificent could happen to you. And in this case, since I'm asking the questions, I'll say, if I answer all of your questions to your satisfaction, will you be prepared to list your property at the time tonight when we get together? Will you be prepared to list your property? And now then again, shut up, listen, and wait for her answer. Well, it depends on what you have to say. Okay, but if I answer everything to your satisfaction, would you be prepared to list the property with me tonight? Well, I guess, yeah. Okay, I want an answer to that question, even if I have to keep fishing for it. Because what you're going to find out is so many people will say, well, sure, yeah. Wouldn't you like to know that before you go there? I do. Now, next says I would appreciate if you'd have an extra key handy so that I could take it with me. That way, I can get started right away. Just let that sit. You'll get there, and many, many times, more times than not, you'll see a shiny new key sitting there. Okay? These pre-appointment questions, I can't tell you how important they are, because you're doing it before you get there, so that when you show up, you have more knowledge about what's going on, and you are armed with everything you need to secure that listing, aren't you? If you think you aren't, just reread those questions. Try it. Just try it. Suspend your disbelief. Pretend like you don't know anything about this business, and do it.